Hi, welcome back. In this session, I am going to discuss about a scenario, how to make sure the messages which are producer sending are sent in the same order. Also the consumer is also consuming in the same order the producer send a message. And also make sure um, all the messages are successfully saved in the topic, right? So what are the different configurations we need to do for these two scenario? So for example, like if the producer is sending like 3 transactions, the insert, update and then delete. Let's say if the insert fails, the consumer should not be getting the update and delete. The consumer should process insert, otherwise it should not be processing any of this message. So that is the scenario. So what we need to do, let's say when the first message fails, we have a configuration called retries. So the value of retries by default in the older Kafka versions, it is by default is 0. But in the latest versions they have some maximum value. So we need to set up the maximum value. We need to make sure the retries is having the maximum value. With the maximum value, what it will do if it fails, this keep trying. um, the producer keep trying, resending the message. And when I'm sending this message, I also need to make sure the consumer is not going to consume in the second message or third message, right? So for that we need to make the inflight connection as 1. So in that case, what I'm trying to tell to my broker, when I'm trying to send a message, and if that is not reachable to any topic, and if I keep trying to send that particular message, don't send any other messages, right? So I'm always, it's one message per connection. So that is what inflight connection is equal to 1. So in that way I am making sure I am not sending any other messages. So after retry like for 5 times, and if it is success, then I will be sending the update and delete. And if after retrying for infinite number of times, I don't want to like, let's say, like I don't want to try this retry for 5 minutes. I need to set a latency. I don't want too much of time to decide whether this is right or wrong, right? If there is any issues, I need to come to know as soon as possible, right? In that case, what we can do, there is another configuration called retry backup in millisecond. What this will do, it will, if you set 5 minutes, so the retry will try for 5 minutes. If it is not happening, then it will come back to the producer as an exception. So this will come to the producer as exception, and the producer need to see what is the error. If it can fix it, otherwise it need to decide how to send the next message, or throw an exception and just terminate, right? So never send any of the message related to this particular transaction. So that is how we need to make sure the order of messages sent by the producer to the topic. Now the other scenario is, how can we make sure whether all the messages are successfully saved in the topic, right? Like exactly one scenario, like all the messages are sent only once, not no duplicate, or we are not going to lose any messages, right? In that case, what we need to do, apart from the 3 configurations we mentioned, retry and inflight, and retry for this much of time, we also need to make sure that the messages is copied in all the brokers which we prefer, right? If we have 3 brokers, the message is copied in the 3 brokers. If we have 5 or 6, we can determine, as long as it is copied in first 2, we are good. For that we need to use the acknowledgement and in sync replica. Acknowledgement all means all the brokers, but among all the brokers I just care about the first 2, the leader and one of the follower. Then we can make use of the in sync ISR. I spoke about these 2 configurations in one of the other video, maybe you can go and see. So with all this configuration, what we are trying to say, okay, if there is a failure, retry only one at a time and make sure that message reached, okay, only after that send the other messages. Also make sure the same data is copied also in the leader and also in the followers, okay. So I have a backup also, copied, right? So this way we can ensure that the messages reach at least once, okay. Let's say if the consumer fails, okay, I have a backup here, okay. Let's say if the update fails, okay, I am going to retry it and send it, and then I will be sending retry. So this particular configuration will handle all the scenarios. So in the latest version of Kafka, this is easily achievable by using the another configuration called item button, okay. With item button and insync replicas too, okay, item button will take care of all these configurations which we discussed, but it will take care of managing the messages and make sure like the messages is not duplicated. Like for example, like if the producer is sending a message, okay, um, this time it sent with an it generate a id, okay, and for that id the broker will get a message, and if the producer is sending the same message again, okay, the broker knows, okay, this message is already there, so it's a duplicate message, don't send it, okay. So that way the item button configurations will make sure like no duplicate message, and it got a message once and it sent a acknowledgement back to producer. So the item button configuration will take care of everything, okay. So that's the advantage of using the latest Kafka version, okay. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel for future videos. Thank you.